Hey friends, so have you ever bought a watercolor sketchbook and you feel like you're fighting the paper the whole time? It buckles, the paint doesn't move right, your blends just don't come together for you, especially if you love loose, flowy things like I do. Well, honestly, I don't usually paint in sketchbooks because of that reason, and I tend to stick to loose sheets or blocks because the paper just performs better. But today I am testing out something a little different. Flunbrato sent me this refillable watercolor sketchbook to try, and I wanted to share my honest first impressions with you as my first attempt to paint into it. So it is 100% cotton and it does have removable pages, so I'm really curious to see if it actually holds up. And I will be painting a loose lupine wildflower using my Rosa Gallery paints so we can see how the water handles on it, how the layers handle, and how it blends. So let's jump in and test it out.
Let's see what we've got in here. Ooh, okay, this is pretty. Let's see here. So watercolor sketchbook, acid-free, refillable binder, 100% cotton, and the size of the paper is 8.3 by 5.8 inches, and it's 140-pound paper. So let's see what this looks like. Very nice. Got a little pocket in here. It's actually like a 3-ring binder. We'll take a look at the paper in a second. Got a little banner here. It looks like a place so you can either put your pencil or a brush even. And I think this is like a vinyl, but it looks like denim, which is very nice. So let's just pop these papers in here, shall we? So it's got 2 little clips on here. You just push down, and the watercolor sketchbook is acid-free, cold press, refillable, binder design. As I said, 140 pound, 100% cotton. And supposedly you can paint on both sides, which that is a super nice thing for a sketchbook, isn't it? All right, so let's take a look at the paper. How many sheets were there? 20, 24. Yeah, 24 sheets. And it does have a little bit of a texture in there. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. And they both feel pretty similar on both sides. I like the fact that you've got the 3-ring binder here so you can just pop them in and pop them out. Like if I always hated that about a sketchbook, because if I didn't like a sheet, I feel like I had to tear it out and then it would leave this big mark along the side unless it was perforated, but then you still would have that strip where you knew something was missing. So that's kind of nice. So you can kind of take these in and out. And they did send me an additional paper, which is a hot press. So that's really nice. So I could do hot press or cold press. So it comes with the cold press, and I think you can buy the refills for cold press or hot press. So this is, I'll show you the hot press too. So hot press, very, very smooth, obviously. And I'm assuming that you can paint on both sides of this one as well. So yeah, that's kind of cool. So let's just check it out. And they also sent me this one, which I peeked at and I didn't realize that it was different. So I have 2 of them, which was really nice. So I can do one with a hot press and one with a cold press. So I'll have both binders, which is a kind of a neat idea. So let's see what these little babies are like. All right, so I thought we would do just a very loose little lupin to kick this off and test this out. So I'm going to use some pinks. This is actually, I think I have a little bit of bleed proof in that. Bleed proof white. I'm going to come over here. I want this more, I want to be able to test it out to see the transparency that we got in here. So a little bit of magenta. That actually might be Quin Lilac. And I want this pretty light. Again, I want the first wash very light. So I'm going to start with the top so that you have like this little, I don't know, little bell shape type thing in. a lupine. And then they have one sometimes in the center. I got a lot of water on there. Again, this is a big brush, so it's going to hold a lot more. And they kind of fan out like this. I'm going to leave the white space in the center. We will put a stem in there. And it gets a little bigger as we come down. Sometimes they're green on the very top too, and they're usually quite long. Let's bring it all the way down. Okay, and then fanning out. Ooh, okay. So that's a nice big lupine right up front, and I will say I can see the texture in here. I'm waiting to see how we're going to dry. Let's add a little bit of purple. Just a touch. I'm going to go darker in here after, but we'll add a little bit of purple on the bottom part of those. Oops, I dug into my green there by accident. Need to go a little darker. There we go. It'll give us just a little shadow underneath so they're not all the same color. That's pretty. This is lightening up down here quite nicely. So I can kind of play around with it while it is still wet. Let's go in with a little bit darker value and let's just play in here. I can see that's drying pretty quickly. And we have a fairly humid day today. So I'm just tapping in some of that darker color underneath. I started out with quite wet on this top one here. But it blends quite nicely. All right, I'm going to dry that. Okay, so it did buckle the paper, but I think by having it in here and laying it flat afterward, I think it's going to be okay. So let's go in now. We've done our little light wash. We can also add in a little bit of a stem in here. So I'm going to use my sap green. I'm just going to add just a touch of that purple to it. Or even the magenta, just so it can soften it. It's actually, I think it's usually a pretty bright green. So it does have this stem that runs up through here. We'll make it a little wider down here. Again, I'm being kind of messy. So you can see through some of this. Now I'm going off of what I remember, and again, I might not be correct with this. Some people don't even know what lupines are. Lupines are all over Maine. They're a wildflower there. So I've got in a little bit of that green, and let's go into a few details. All right, so I'm going to grab my detail brush now, and we're going to put in just a few. Now it's a little bit darker in here, because that's where maybe you've got some others kind of popping through on the back side. So we're going to throw just a few in here. Need to get a little bit more water. Again, I'm trying to be loose with it. You might not see all of it. Sometimes they're spread out a little bit, but it gives you a little bit of definition in behind there. So it's not quite as bright white. So I'm just going to tuck them in there. Okay, tucked. Okay, again, just a few. And then we might have a little bit of a division near the bottom. So again, I'm going to go a little darker. Just a few. I'm trying not to detail it too much. I want to keep it simple, but yet give it a little bit more oomph. And this is that next layer, that next step where you can up your games a little bit. And you always can tell when you add these darker layers, you get a little bit more definition, and it like takes your paintings to the next level. I think as beginners, sometimes we might stop a little too soon, or sometimes we'll overdo it, but we don't need much. And I think that is the big thing. You can see how many more values I have in there now. It's just not as flat looking. It gives it a little bit more dimension. And I'm trying to leave some white space on the tip of that. So I can even, I don't want to outline all of them, but leave a little bit of white space in just a few of these to give it, again, a little bit of a highlight in there. And I could do that same thing with the green down below. And I'm going to go a little darker. I'll just maybe a little bit more of that lilac to deepen it. And so I'm using both of those colors together, and it just makes it very cohesive when you do that, because all of those colors are going to work nicely together because you've already used them within your flower. And you can see how you get, instead of a really bright green, it gives you a nice soft neutral tone. It just neutralizes all of that. And again, I don't need a whole lot, but we're just going to give the illusion of a little stem in there. And that's pretty much all you need. So I have to say the paper handled it quite nicely. I'm going to try a full wash on there too. Now let me go in with just the green, again, a lighter version with my big brush. We'll just add a little leaf down in here. So I'm going to use the light green with just a touch of that purple again, not much. I want to keep it fairly bright, very loose. And they have like these 5 points to them. These petals or leaf shapes for the lupins. And they're kind of pointed like this. We don't need to do a whole lot, but just a little bit of an illusion down in there. And again, I'm pretty light with this. I can even put in more lupins if I wanted to. Okay, and just tuck them in there. And I'm keeping it nice and loose. I can now take my detail brush, drop a little bit more of that darker value in there. Again, more of the green with maybe a little bit of the quin or magenta. Just want it a little bit darker. And they're pretty bright in the light, but let's just, again, I'm going with that more neutral tone, so I'm just going to pop in just a little bit more of that in there. I don't need to, again, do a whole lot in the definition of that. How cute is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe the 5th one's up here. And so you don't see some of them. But again, very loose. And it did take the water quite nicely. Let's give it a quick dry. And it does have a little bit of white in there. Let's just give it, it's like a little star shape that it's got in the center. And there is a little bit of some stuff on the tips. But this really, I should really go in a little bit darker, I think, on that. Again, see how flat that looks because it's just one wash. I might go in just a little bit deeper here with that green. Maybe on one side. I don't need a whole lot, but I just want just a little more going on in here. Oops, it came off the edge of that one. And again, when I do flowers, I like to do a messy because when I try to do all the little details, I go crazy. It's just me. I don't like to, I like to be messy when I paint for some reason. That loose, it keeps me loose. I mean, I can do tight, but I don't like to do tight flowers. I think I can even add a little more in there. So let's just do a touch of, yeah, that's nice and dark. Really, really dark twin lilac in there. See, just a touch. Boop, 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 boop. Little boops. Okay, we're all dry again. I've got a little bit of a curl there. That's what it's for. To close it up to tighten it.
Pressing that down on that, it's probably going to keep it flat. And you also can take these out, which I do like the fact because I think I would have a hard time painting with this with my hand being in the way with these 3-ring binders. So I would probably remove that to paint on the other side of this one. All right, so that was my first impressions of the sketchbook. I'm pretty much digging it. I really like the fact that I can remove those pages and that the paper is pretty good paper. It's almost similar to like the Strathmore watercolor cards to me. So like I mentioned, I don't usually reach for sketchbooks when I'm painting with watercolors, so it's really interesting to see how this one handled with the water, the layering, the blends, especially for a loose floral like this one. So if you want to go a little deeper into this, I do a second painting over on Patreon where we spend a little bit more time exploring the paper and the techniques together. And Flunbrato was kind enough to give me a 15% coupon code for you all. So I'll have that link down below for you if you want to check it out for yourself. All right, let me know in the comments what you guys think, and if you found a sketchbook that you really love for watercolor, I'd love to hear more about it. All right, we'll see you in the next one.